The most important unit in macroeconomics is income and employment theory of James Keynes, the father of macroeconomics. Today we'll be discussing the first topic or the first chapter of income and employment theory. Hello, welcome back once again to CBSE Board Economics. I'm Saddam Hussain. Carefully follow this topic, and this is going to help you throughout your income and employment theory. The later on chapters in this unit, like equilibrium level of income and employment, then you have C plus I approach, S and I approach to arrive at the equilibrium level of income and employment, full employment, underemployment, excess demand, inflationary gap, deflationary gap. All concepts revolve around aggregate demand and aggregate supply. So follow this carefully, and we will be discussing other chapters in the later on videos. Don't forget to watch them too, to have complete understanding of income and employment theory. So to start with the income and employment theory, we should know aggregate demand, or we call it also effective demand. So there is no economics without demand and supply. Even last year in microeconomics you studied the demand and supply chapters. Later on the equilibrium and all the other chapters revolve around demand and supply. Same way in macroeconomics, aggregate demand is the most important topic you have. Even for your board exam point of view, this is an important question. What exactly is aggregate demand? What are its components? What is aggregate demand? What are its components? That we will be discussing today in this short video. Aggregate demand, so we write it in short form AD, aggregate demand. What exactly is aggregate demand? Aggregate demand is the total demand for goods and services in the economy in a given period of time, or we can say it as in an accounting year. Aggregate demand is total demand for goods and services in the economy at any given level of income or in an accounting year. What exactly is the aggregate demand? We can put it the other way around. Obviously, you demand goods in the economy. When you go for shopping, obviously you will be spending expenditure, money to buy goods. Suppose, for example, you want to buy an iPhone. So that means either you say I demand an iPhone, or I want an iPhone, or I'm going to spend 1 lakh rupees on this expensive mobile phone. So we can put the aggregate demand as the total expenditures in the economy in an accounting year. AD is the total demand for goods and services in the economy in an accounting year, or the total expenditures in an economy in an accounting year. The total expenditure. You can put either ways. What are the components of aggregate demand? What components you have from the whole economy's point of view? AD has 4 components. You can see it here on the board. AD, aggregate demand, is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So we'll discuss one by one all these components. AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. You can see the first one you have. The first one, C, stands for consumption expenditure, or the demand for consumer goods. This is done by households in the economy. All households, consumer households. So we learnt already the main aim of a consumer household is consumption. That's why it is written as C. Consumption expenditure, or the demand for consumer goods. This can be durable goods, this can be non-durable goods, this can be semi-durable goods, this can be services demanded by the households for their consumption. That is C, consumption demand. Of course, it depends upon the disposable income, how much income they have. If the consumer households have greater income or more income, obviously the consumption expenditure in the economy will be high. C will be high. That's the number one, consumption demand. The second one is C plus I. I stands for investment expenditure. So obviously we know that investment in the economy are done by the firms, investment expenditure. I stands for investment expenditure. This investment can be on structures, building, machines, structures, anything it can be. It's done both by the government as well as the private firms. So the government constructs roads, buildings, structures, flyovers, metro project, railways, all this comes under investment expenditure. And the third one is government expenditure, C plus I plus G. Government expenditure, government provides you so many facilities, hospitals. This is the expenditure on medicines in the hospitals, or the salaries of the doctors. Government provides you free education, and they provide you free education. They have to pay the salaries of the teachers. And the government also provides you water facility, electricity, street lighting, defense, law and order. That's the government expenditure. The last one you have is X minus M. X stands for exports, M stands for imports in economics. This is net exports. It's a difference between exports and imports of the country. That is net exports. So I repeat, aggregate demand, you can see it here. I go off the board so that it will be visible to you. So what exactly is aggregate demand? AD. AD is the total demand for goods and services in the economy in an accounting year, or the total expenditures in an economy in an accounting year. AD, we can write it in a formula C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So you can see it here below. C stands for consumption expenditure. This is done by the households on all kinds of consumer goods. I stands for investment expenditure. This is done by the firms when they are investing on buildings, structures, anything. And the government also invests money on railways, metro projects, flyovers, bridges, hospitals, Indian Institute of Medical Sciences, or universities, colleges. And the government expenditure. Government also spends money for providing you hospitals, schools, salaries and all. Net exports is the difference between X minus M. On the board you can see it here. AD, I have written it as C plus I. Why we just use it later on, AD is equal to C plus I? Because in your syllabus you have only two sectors we are discussing about. One is a household and the second one is firms. So that's why we will be using AD as C plus I. G and X minus M are not in your syllabus, so we won't discuss about them. So you will be writing only AD is equal to C plus I. C stands for consumption expenditure, I stands for investment expenditure. So it is written here, households consumption and firms investment expenditure. So I repeat once again what you are supposed to write in the exam. Don't write too much, just write to the point. So we learn once again. Number one, define aggregate demand. Aggregate demand is the total demand for goods and services in an economy in an accounting year, or the total expenditures on all kinds of goods and services in the economy in an accounting year. The components of aggregate demand are: number one, consumption expenditure, C. Number two, we can write it, the formula first, AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M, consumption expenditure, and then investment expenditure, I, then government expenditure, G, and then X minus M, net exports. It's the difference between X and exports and imports. So AD we write it as C plus I because we will be studying about two sectors only. One is the households and the other one is a firm. So C stands for consumption, I stands for investment. That's it. This might come for 3 marks or at the most 4 marks. You are supposed to write 60 words or maybe 70-80 words, and just write to the point instead of beating the bush or writing unnecessary irrelevant material. You will be wasting your time in the examination. That's all we have time for this video. Watch the next video. We will be discussing aggregate supply. Later on, we'll be discussing about consumption function, propensity to consume, propensity to save, equilibrium level of income, employment, C plus I, S and I approach, and we'll finish the whole unit. Don't forget to watch them, like our videos, comment if you have doubts, and subscribe. Share these videos with your friends. It's a good help for you before you go for your board examination. Thank you guys for watching. Till we meet next time. Bye-bye. Keep smiling.